Hi, in this session I want to show you how to use Webmin to manage your brand new NAS box. So this is the interface that you've got using the IP address that we've discovered before. So let's jump into it. So first thing that you get when you open Webmin is the system information, and there's lots of things here. You can see the system name, how long it's been up, the temperature of the CPU, of the hard disk, the OS version, and you've got lots of different stats on CPU usage, memory usage, number of processors, disk and networking, and so on and so on. You can see the recent logins. You can see the interfaces and disk usage. Okay, and what is really interesting here is if there are updates available for Debian, they will show here, and all you have to do is to click on them, see what's available for update, and if you want to update, just click on update those two packages. Yes, I want to do it. Install now, and it will do it really super quickly. And that's it. And now our system is up to date. Go back to the dashboard and everything is up to date. Then if you click on the memory, for example, it will tell you which processors are using the most memory. For example, our container with Jellyfin is using almost 300 meg of RAM. So it is working, it's up and running, and so on. Local disk space. Now, let's go into really what we can configure with Webmin step by step. So I'm going to jump to the most interesting sections. Probably this one is where I would start. This one is interesting. You can have a look at the version number of your operating system and maintenance date. The reassign modules is also interesting because this is where you can move the different modules between the different categories that you can see here. So if for example, if I want to move boot up and shut down to, I don't know, hardware, I just have to do this and it will move, but I'm not going to do it. All these different things I will let you discover this by yourself, but maybe the most interesting one here is that sending emails. So here you can get Webmin to send emails. So you need to have an SMTP server available. So you can configure one on this computer using a containerized application like OpenSMTP, or I've got my own that is already running on my network, and you need to configure the email details. So this will allow Webmin to send emails when there are some alerts and things like this. This one is also important because initially SSL is enabled, and we want to remove this so it's easier, so it doesn't complain because there is no certificate installed. Okay, so this let's jump to the system section. Here you can see which services are activated at boot. So you see all those different services where they're running at boot and where they're active or non-active right now. So that gives you an overview of all the different services. You can change the passwords of your users. And this is where it's super interesting and important because you can see how the disks and file systems are mounted in Linux. For example, as we discussed before, we've got this hard drive, USB hard drive that is mounted on my computer, and it's defined here. So you can see it's mounted here, and then you can decide if it's mounted at boot, and you get all these different options, but it's better if you leave them by default. And then you tell which disk you're targeting, and so on. You can see the different running processes. So that's the same that you can see from the dashboard, and the memory that using, which processors are using the CPU, and so on. You can see which jobs are scheduled to run. This one we've seen before. That's where you see all the packages that can be updated. And this is where you can see all the packages installed on your system. So there's lots of them, but you can see everything. Here you can see the system logs. So I've configured this to show 1000 lines and show the latest at the top, but for some reason it's not really working. It's showing the most recent at the bottom, because it's using the journalctl function, and it's not working here, but it's okay. You just have to scroll down. This is where you manage your users and groups. So as we've seen before, you've got those two users I've created, and you can change things here. You can change lots of different options. Servers. I've got only two things really configured here. So that's the Samba server for sharing data to on the network, and there's a whole section that I've discussed in the previous video, so I encourage you to have a look at this one, because it can be complex, but at the same time it's very powerful and much easier to use with the graphical interface than doing with the command line. The other one is not configured. SSH server is configured, so that's how I access the computer using SSH. And then you get some very useful tools. For example, you can use the file manager. Gives you access to all the drives, so all the content of all the drives. So you can see your media. I can access the USB drive that I've mounted before. Everything is here. You can see that, for example, the Vim backup that we've just done. Let's get all this content. So you get 9 gig backup plus some incremental backups, and you can see also the content of the home folder. So this is where I had my movie for Jellyfish, and obviously you can move things, cut and copy, and it's really handy, and it's much easier than using the command line. File manager. Okay, system and server status. So this one is really handy, because it gives you the option to install some alerts in case something goes wrong. So for example, I'll configure this to send me an alert if the CPU temp is going above 60 degrees. At the moment it's sitting at 37. So if it goes above 60, I will get an email which is configured previously, and then can send me an email if there's a problem with the RAID system as well, and so on and so on. and you can decide, for example, if you have a SQL server somewhere, MySQL database, and if you can configure an alert if it goes down, and then you will get an email. Okay, the terminal is also very handy, because basically it's opening a terminal window, so you don't have to go through opening a prompt on your own computer, and you can log in here and do everything that you can do here. So this one is also very easy to use. So if you want to upload things to the server without going through a command line or using Windows Explorer, you can basically drag files here and say where they will land. Okay, that's another way of uploading things to your server without using Windows Explorer, and it's very, very practical. Networking gives you the network configuration. So we've got one interface here, which is our ENO1. So this one is activated at boot. It's got a fixed IP address as we've seen before. It's got IPv6 disabled. And the routing goes through my router at home. And this IP address is for my Docker environment. My hostname is defined here. And these are the host address that I'm not going to change. Okay. Hardware is showing you the state of the different hardware components of the computer. So we've got a RAID array, MD126, and you can see the state of the RAID. It's active. It's using SATA 0 and SATA 1, and you can do obviously some things here that I'm not going to do, otherwise it's going to kill everything. But you can actively manage a RAID array from here. You can see also the partitions on the different hard drives. So this is my SATA 0, my SATA 1. You can check the smart status of those drives just by clicking on this. And you see all those different, so it's smart enabled, and it's healthy, so it's all good. And this is my USB drive that I've mounted, and it's got only one partition. Okay, I don't have any printer. The smart drive status, I've just showed this to you. So you get lots of information. You get the temperature, you can see the full smart report. So it's very, very detailed. System time gives you the opportunity to change the time and time zone, and you can it's synced with a time server somewhere. I don't understand why actually syncing. It must be some time server that is specific to Webmin. The cluster section only applies if you get like multiple Webmin servers, which we don't have, and the rest is just showing all the different modules that are available in Webmin but not used here. What you can do is, if you want to have some shortcuts around, for example, this, I want to make it a favorite. and also maybe this one, the favorite. So when you click here, it shows you the different favorites, so you can jump straight into them. So that's very, very handy. There's an option for running a terminal here also, but it's a different type of terminal, so I don't understand why it's there, but anyway, it doesn't hurt. I want to show you how to personalize your Webmin. It's in the theme configuration. So first thing, if you want, for example, to change the color of the menu on the side, which is blue here, so I want to make it, for example, green, and I save it, and the color is changing. So that's pretty. And if I want to add a logo, for example, to identify what sort of computer you're using, so I just need to select a small file, and you see that I've got this little computer here, so it tells me that I'm managing my little HP computer. So now I've personalized my Webmin for this particular computer. So that gives you a very short overview of what is available within Webmin, and I only encourage you to explore and really customize it the way you want. Thank you for watching. Bye.